Welcome to an exciting new episode of talking about Stoicism. I thought what we would do today, I already had this set up, so today I thought I would just do this as opposed to sitting there with my device recording myself. I thought what we would talk about today is kind of a continuation of the topic I addressed last time. Last time we talked about you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk. And what came to me after I'd recorded that video was a little quote from Bill Nye's book, Everything All at Once, that I read a couple of years ago actually. And that stood out to me. In that book he provides some rules for living, and he's not a Stoic that I know, but he provides some rules for living, and one of them I thought was very interesting. He wrote that one of his rules is everyone you meet knows something that you do not. And I think that is something that the Stoics would really approve of. The Stoics said, okay, so you have sages, people that you aspire to, people that you try to emulate, people whose deeds and actions and thoughts you try to emulate so that you can one day be as much of a sage as possible. You'll never really be a sage, but you can get close to a sage. You can approximate the sage, and then as a result you lead a better life. And as I've said in the past, the problem for me with that reasoning is then you may fall into the trap of trying to be perfect, and you will never really be perfect. However, what if in the context of trying to be a good person, trying to listen to what other people are saying, listening twice as much as you speak, what if you add to that a specific way of looking at things? What if you add to that every person you interact with knows something that you do not? That way, when you give yourself an opportunity to actually have meaningful conversation with another person, which we don't always do because everyone is always in a hurry, we're always rushing to the next thing, we're going here, we're going there. If you allow yourself some time to actually talk to a person, you may find they have certain knowledge that can help you, maybe not directly on the spot, but that you can learn from. And by learning, you're able to progress because you have learned something and you can try to apply that. And that, I think, is a good way to expand your mental horizon, your viewpoints, what you do, what you say. You assume that other people will know something that you do not, that you can learn from. Not only does that help, I think, in continuously striving to make you try to be a better person, but it can also give you more respect for, more understanding of another person that you are talking to. Right? Because you are working on the premise that that person may know something that you do not know. And that may be how to solve your electrical problem, or how to bake chocolate chip cookies, or how to, whatever, but that person will have some sort of knowledge that is shareable and that might help you out in some way. And I think the Stoics, because I know very well this particular book had nothing to do with Stoicism. There was no mention of Stoicism. It had nothing to do with that topic. But I do think that that is a way of looking at things that the Stoics would very much approve of. Given the emphasis on emulate a sage, find a good mentor, do what they do, right? I think in the context of that, it's actually very reasonable to say, well, they probably would really approve of the idea that everyone knows something that you don't know, and as a result, you can use that to learn. And I think that is a valuable valuable way of looking at things. And as I said, a second benefit to that, beyond the actual learning part, I think, is that you start to treat people with more humility and sometimes with more respect. When you think, well, whoever you are, whoever it is I run into, you know something that I don't know. And that can spark a conversation, that can lead to all sorts of things, but it allows you to take a step back from your own ego and think, well, actually, that's really interesting. I never thought of it that way. Or I never saw that. Or I did not know that. And that, I think, excuse me, that I think can be very beneficial in your personal growth. Because I do think we could use some more humility in society, looking at things that are said and done online, out in the world. And I think this is a good way to do that. And humility itself is a very Stoic principle, right? If you are full of yourself, if you are arrogant, if you are egocentric, you cannot be virtuous. Those things cannot be united. Whereas if you are filled with humility, you're able to listen to someone, to not put yourself first. I think a lot of things in your life tend to change and a lot of doors open. So these are some of the thoughts I had. I think next week I would like to go back to Seneca because we've taken some expeditions, but I need a little bit of break from all the letters. I think there is a lot to be learned from everything you do and everything you engage with, right? So that's what I've tried to convey here. Now let me know what you think. How do you approach this? How do you like this idea of everybody knows something that you do not? And how do you apply it in your life? I always find it interesting to read responses to that. So there you have it. Next time, more Seneca. For now, thank you so much for watching. I still know these videos do not get as many views as the pen videos, and that's perfectly fine, but the people who do watch them seem to really enjoy them. And that's really nice because that means it's fun to continue to make them. So there we have that. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you again soon. More talk about Stoicism